Vandenam tadvutaishvaryam Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu Nichopiyat prasadat syad bhakti shastra pravartaka. My respectful obeisances unto the infinitely powerful Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, by whose grace the most fallen person can become a teacher of Bhakti Shastra. And this is Madhya 25.1. I like this verse. Before they told me to teach, then I realized, oh, I was chanting this verse before. Yasya prasadadagyopi sadhya sarvagyatam rajatsa Shri Chaitanya devame bhagavan samprasidatu. My respectful obeisances unto Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose grace the complete fool can get all knowledge. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. Krishna is super merciful. I had just been searching through our 20 quotes from Chaitanya Caritamrita in this book to give a short few-minute lecture before our sweet, wonderful test on the Bhakti Shastra. Yes. It's Brahminical sport. If you feel nervous, that's okay. It's a little worrying only for the first 15 times. Then you get used to it. To write. It's the Gehirnsport. We have this expression, right? The brain sport in German. So, in the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada is quoting another verse from the Chaitanya Caritamrita. This is Madhya 122. So maybe we can just chant this shortly. Just to have some. This is 122. It's a nice verse about Shastra. Maya mugda jiver nahi swata Krishna gyan jivare kripaya koila Krishna beda purana. Okay. And word for word, Maya Mugdha, enchanted by the illusory energy. Jivera, of the conditioned soul. Nahi, there is not. Swata, automatically. Krishna Jnana, knowledge of Krishna. Jivere, unto the conditioned soul. Kripaya, out of mercy. Kaila, presented. Krishna, Lord Krishna. Veda Purana, the Vedic literature and the Puranas. Supplements to the Vedic literature. So, translation. The conditioned soul cannot revive his Krishna consciousness by his own effort. But out of causeless mercy, Lord Krishna compiled the Vedic literature and its supplements, the Puranas. So, Srila Prabhupada gives a short description of the action of Maya. And then he says, about the Shastra, and then he says, unfortunately, at the present moment, the conditioned souls are guided by demons who do not care to read the Vedic literatures. Although there is an immense treasure house of knowledge, people are engaged in reading useless literature that will give them no information on how to get out of the clutches of Maya. So, this verse says that Krishna is giving mercy. So, who wants some, let's say, sweet mercy from Krishna? So, we have the whole bookshelves full of sweet mercy. And Krishna is always ready to always ready to talk to us. This is one of the most merciful forms of Krishna. Shastra is one of this is how Krishna is trying to bless us. Sometimes we think that you can get instructions only from the personified Shastra, from the personified Veda. And we are all, each one of you is supposed to become a personified Shastra. Mahatma Prabhu once gave a scary example, saying that don't tell me what to do, show me what to do. If we have a camera following you for 24 hours a day, will we understand what your philosophy is? If we, live stream your life, will it be clear? So this is the idea. Of course, also if you quote a nice Sanskrit verse now and then and write a nice exam, that's a bonus, a big bonus. So today we will have a special training for also writing the correct philosophy, remembering, and for remembering the verses. But even if we are in the presence of a living Veda, sometimes it's not easy to get a question answered. I remember once I had a question to Niranjana Maharaj, a big conversation, and I was traveling with him for, I think, 2 months. For 2 months I was traveling with him. And I remember in the beginning I said, Maharaj, I have a question I want to discuss with you. He said, okay, you're with me, you can ask later. Okay. So then 2 cities later, I say, Maharaj, maybe I can talk today? He said, it was a heavy day, so you can ask later. So then after 3-4 days after that, we were moving between cities. And then I said, Maharaj, maybe I can ask now? He said, it's we are in the car, it's a little noisy on the road, so, it will be difficult to discuss now. Maybe you can ask later. So then we were in another temple, and I said, Maharaj, maybe I can ask now? He said, there are so many people here who want to talk, you are with me, you can ask some other date later. So basically, I could ask my question after like 1 month and a half. Right? So it was a very deep, very special, very important discussions I've had that stays for me for decades. But what I'm saying is that even if you have a representative of Krishna's mercy, it may still not be so easy to just have a discussion. But Krishna's books, you can see there is a whole table of mercy there, and all of them are waiting. Ask me anything. They are there and they're saying, ask me anything. I want to give you mercy. I am Krishna's mercy. I want to bless. So this is Krishna's mercy that wants us to bless. So probably the saddest, one of the most sad, the saddest things is to, Krishna writes us a love letter and we never open it. Yeah, it's probably the most sad thing that we can imagine. Krishna has written us love letters and we do not study. We do not read the love letters. But we are trying to help. We are trying to arrange this meeting. Somebody said that the book distributors are like special gopis who help the jiva meet Krishna, conditioned souls meet Krishna, and arrange for a dance. It's almost like a universal Rasa Lila dance, that you're coming and trying to have the meeting between Jiva and Krishna. You're bringing Krishna's mercy, the books, and or some other forms of Krishna's association, and you are inviting the conditioned souls to join the dance. In Shesha Upanishad, Prabhupada says the purpose of life is to join the Rasa Lila dance. Very Rasika in the very initial book. Quite surprising that already in Isha Upanishad, Prabhupada says this is the purpose of life. in a proper way, based on the philosophy and understanding of our true position. So the Nectar of Instructions is a beautiful book that was universally declared and accepted as a very helpful book for our practice. So we will have some discussion now. This is Rupa Goswami's effort to present us with all the special mercy. So it describes the attitude, the attitudes. Prabhupada says that one's advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on one's attitude. Haltung. So it's like the inner mood, we can also say, but also the behaviors, so attitude. And then we have the whole map of how we do not identify, we can tolerate the 6 urges. Some translations, the tolerate is not there. It just says you have to stop the 6 urges. Some translations, some verses, but we know that Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's impossible to stop immediately, right? So the idea is not to fall and drown, and to see the direction, not to identify. We are not supposed to. Prabhupada says this is not a reasonable proposition to kill the mind and kill the desires. We are not the impersonalists who try to kill the mind and kill the desires and kill all the thoughts. We want to purify them, we want to redirect them towards Krishna. Right? We want to direct our life actions to our Supreme Beloved, Krishna. And this helps us. The 6 urges, guidance, avoiding 6 unfavorable, accepting the 6 favorable. Bhaktivinoda Thakur has a whole song about it. Chaya dosha shodhi, chaya begadomi. This is a request for association, if you remember this bhajan. Please help me to rise above the 6 urges and purify the 6 faults, doshas. And then we have the most important section about loving exchanges. Yeah. Prabhupada says this is why he creates this society, for the 6 loving exchanges. And then we engage in them properly with different categories. Yeah. Those who chant at least once, those who already do service, and those who whose heart is purified and who are expert in devotional service. And then the nectar starts flowing. And then, yes, yes. Repeat which? It's right behind you. You can see. I'm looking at the map. Yeah, this is the map, the treasure map of the Nectar of Instruction. It shows the whole sequence. Yeah, this is from verse 1 to verse 11. It shows the whole sequence. Yes. So this external proper etiquette externally, but also proper attitude internally. The loving vision, not to see like in the Ganga or the holy waters. We do not. We are not stopped by some mud or some foam on the surface of the Ganga. We can still feel the purification, the spiritual touch of the Ganga. So in the same way, when we see the devotees, we try to look at the devotional attitude of the devotees. We try to find the devotional attitude of the devotee. As we know, there was one story about Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur having some disciple who was what was it, like super critical, super harsh. And then he died. And then the other devotees got together and they started talking. Yes, and they were having hard time remembering something good about that devotee. You know the story? And then Bhaktisiddhanta ji came in and he saw that they are discussing, they're not discussing his good qualities. He said he would always have a clean dhoti, and he had a very nice tilak. Right? This he mentioned? Something else he mentioned? Something like this. He remembered something good about this devotee. Always a very nice tilak and always clean dhoti, clean, nicely pressed dhoti. So he found something that he was offering nicely. Purusa Prabhu says that this is very difficult. He says sometimes you have one of those days. That's the English expression, one of those days. You know, like everything is bad. So he said he would come to the Gurukul where he was teaching, and everything was complete catastrophe. Everything was horrible. And then he thought it's not possible that everything is horrible. You know, it's Krishna's world. Everything cannot be totally horrible. There has to be something good. He just needs to find it. So then he says how he would try to find something good about the day, and there's nothing good. So then he would think, okay, these boys, okay, this naughty little boy, at least he's breathing nicely. You know, very nicely. He's breathing very nicely. And then the other one, okay, at least he's sitting and not jumping. And then he would try to find 1, 2, 3 good things about the class. And then it's like, you know, like going to the other side of this strong river, you know, you push and push and push. But then as you begin, then you discover 4, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, more better qualities. And then the day is changing. All of a sudden he finds the good current and he can find more good qualities. So Brahmaji says, Tatenukampam susamikshamano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvagva purbhir vidadan namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadaya bhag. Brahmaji says, when a devotee learns the art of finding mercy in everything that's happening, gratefully he is tolerant and he gratefully finds how things are Krishna's mercy, and keeps offering obeisances to Krishna with his body, with his words, and with his heart, then such a devotee already is confirmed as the future resident of the spiritual world at Krishna's lotus feet. So when he learns to find Krishna's mercy in everything and accept whatever is happening as the natural result of his life, and keeps offering obeisances not only with the body, not only with the words, but even with his heart, then everything becomes wonderful. Then you can go to Vaikuntha, Mathura, Vrindavan, Govardhan, and Radhakund also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you very much. So now we will have.
Sorry.
Yes.
Just a question of to enter Mathura. First, you have to go kind of to Vaikuntha, so that means we have to become fearless first.
Fearless.
You know, Vaikuntha means place there's no fear.
Oh.
So I thought like maybe you have to first be fearless to enter, you know, Vaikuntha consciousness, and then you can enter Mathura.
Prabhupada says Vaikuntha means a place where there is no anxiety, no worries. Right? This world is the world of worries, anxiety, and the spiritual world is the world of freedom from anxiety. So fearless, yes, anxiety is a form of a fear. But if you look at the Sanskrit, it also says kunta means being dull, being stupid. So Vaikuntha is the place where there's nothing dull. Everything is very smart. And everybody is super smart. But Vrindavan is also a part of Vaikuntha. Vrindavan is Vaikuntha. but it's the sweetest part of Vaikuntha. It's so sweet that you do not notice the opulence, the Aishwarya. So residents of Vrindavan are residents of Vaikuntha also. And we see sometimes the Jiva souls, they go through the Vaikuntha, and sometimes they can go directly to Vrindavan. Some Bhoma Vrindavan, some place where Krishna is performing his pastimes, and then they get trained for the final service. I mean, for the final time, for the eternal service in Goloka Vrindavan, and then it doesn't matter whether they are in the material world or in the spiritual world, they will be with Krishna. So here in verse 3, Utsaha can be translated also as fearlessness or courage, being courageous. That you are courageous and you have courage to not give up, not to surrender to any fears, but courageously move forward. Okay. Any other points, questions? Something for the exam? Any questions? Any final questions about the exam questions that you had for this for the Shamrita? It was at tiny.cc/NOI prep. tinycc/NOI prep. You can find them in 4 or 5 languages, German included. So everything is clear, yes? So today is a short class because we have devotees between their Bhagavatam and breakfast, they write the Bhakti Shastri exam, one of the Bhakti Shastri exams. So we move to the exam. So can we get the paper, please, for writing? Because Jai Shri Prahlad Narasimhadev ki Jai. Yes, please do, please. You can send after the, yeah. Okay, we can grab somebody else from the street who was coming for the lectures. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is good. Okay, so I have... Я тобі там які, українські? One should be enough. Це український. Це словацький. You need Slovak. Slovensko. Yeah? Це німецький. Пару візьму для хлопців. Всякі ось. Yeah, so please put away your books. Put the books maybe there on that table, on this desk. The books and the phones. No baseball caps with the long thing here. No mirrors. Let's also raise our hands and say Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes. Okay. for example, somebody does 50%. 50% is a margin. Passing grade is 65. So even if somebody does 50, it's still on the border. So then I can ask a few more questions, and